It's those restless hearts that never Johnny come lately, the new kid in town. Will she still love you when you're not There's so many things you should have told her, but night after night you're willing to hold her, just hold her, tears on your shoulder. There's talk on the streets there to remind you. Doesn't really matter which side you're on. You're walking away and they're talking behind you. They will never forget you till somebody new comes along. Where you been lately? There's a new kid in town. Everybody loves him. He's holding out, and you're still around. There's a new kid in town. Just another new kid in Everybody's talking about the new town. Everybody's talking about the new town. There's a new kid in town. I don't wanna hear it. There's a new kid in town. I don't wanna hear it. There's a new kid in town. There's a new kid in town. There's a new kid in town. Everybody's talking. There's a new kid in town. People start walking. There's a new kid in town. There's a new kid in town. There's a new kid in town.
Wow. Oh boy.
I was thinking, I
Good deal. It's clean, I
Robbie, you did an amazing job with that. Okay, this is hard. I'm not speaking from my own words at the moment. I don't think I could yet. But my sister's here with my brother in Guatemala. So I'm going to turn the volume up, and Miguel has some words for us. I know you can't see that.
I want to say, in the name of Rajendra Patel, a big hug to everyone. That's what Rajendra Patel would like right now. To hug everybody and show always a lot of respect, a lot of brotherhood, as a caring man for everybody. A good father, a good friend, and as he was just a good human, he was a very nice, humble, spreading joy, spreading peace and love. And I think that's what he would like right now for all of us to feel. A big hug to everyone. Spread unity and love. And that's what I want to say.
Thank you, Miguel.
This is my son Alexander. He's gonna read a poem that he wrote for Grandpa this morning.
I wrote this poem this morning in honor of him and to help us get through these times. To those who hear this are grieving. To those who hear this are conflicted. We are gathered here to mourn the dead. We are gathered here to say our thanks. But but this may be hard for some whom wish he was still here. But if we do not accept reality, we will spiral into a hole of sorrow. We love him in many ways, and we did our best to help him. We should not take this as sorrow, but a happy farewell, so he may pass with a joyous smile. I thank him for all his joys. I thank him for all his help. We thank him for the love he gave us, and that's why we shed tears.
So we've now hit the free fall part. Oh, no, we haven't. My sister's gonna bring up another grandson.
Sky had an opportunity to come up, was it a week ago? Sorry, I should turn you up. A week ago, when Bappa was in the hospital. Sky's at Augusta University right now working on his doctorate, and I can't even tell you what it meant to my dad that he got to see him. So Sky's joining us online today to say a few words.
Yeah, so, I don't know, I just want to keep it straight to the point. He was a great man. He taught me so much and helped prepare me for success in this world. I mean, he was a very caring man, and I mean, despite his condition, he took the time to come to my graduations, one of them, which was actually in Guatemala, and we took a trip together to India in 2017, which was a very big highlight for both of us, and it actually really changed our relationship in that we really became friends after that trip, and we could talk about anything. And so overall, I'm so grateful that I had the chance to meet him and spend time with him and be able to say that he was my grandfather.
That was beautiful.
I'm crying, Shemma. Thank you, Sky.
Is there someone going to read some words from Grand Michelle? Or do you want me to do it?
Shama and Ajay have asked me to read this from a roommate and friend of Raj Mama's. Raj Mama was my uncle, and we call him Mama. So this is from Virendra Shah. What can I say about Raj? I have known Rajendra Patel since 1969. We were roommates along with Vijay Badamwala when we were at University of Wisconsin-Madison. It is difficult to say about him because he had so many good qualities. It is still very difficult to believe that he is not with us. I will definitely miss him. He had very good willpower and did accept whatever came his way. He was suffering from few things but had never complained about them. With that pain, he was always smiling. He was a true warrior. He never hesitated in doing what was right for his family. He was always helpful to others and without any expectations. We had some difficult times during the 69-70 school year, but we stuck together and pulled through. Raj was very friendly and funny and would crack jokes or make us laugh. I remember whenever I did not do well in an exam, he would play a song sung by Archies called Sugar Sugar that I loved to hear. His favorite group at that time was Blood, Sweat, and Tears. Raj's nature was such that he would mix with strangers very quickly and will make them friends for life. I am sure every person he made friendship with was very fond of had very fond memories of him. He always asked me to visit him in Arizona, but for one reason or another I could not do it, and I do regret it. I pray that Raj would attain some salvation soon. God give his family strength to bear the big loss. From myself, not a lot of words, but Robbie, thank you for that collage of pictures. I feel like a man's worth is the collection of friends and family he has over his life, and nothing more than that, really. And you showed us that Raj Mama had a lot of love that he collected over the last several years, and it was just very nice to see that. Thank you.
All right, now it would be amazing to have access to my dad's wardrobe from the 70s. His sense of style was unique and brave. I guess the word I would use for it. Being a parent of children, I am familiar with what Pokemon are. And I would say that picture of Grandpa with his Green Bay regalia on is his final form Pokemon. Well, at least the kids are laughing. I've processed a lot of feelings and spoke with a lot of people and you know, I'll be going along the day and doing things to help prepare for this day and other things, and just little things will come up and they'll hit me, and this wave of grief and gratitude and love. It's what I was telling my kids, are like emotional speed bumps, and you have to feel them, let them pass through you, and then you can move on. And every time you experience that, there's a little part of it that heals, and that pain is replaced with love. And I know that with the amount of love that Grandpa had from so many, that it's going to be a very difficult road for everybody, and he will lots of speed bumps, a very obnoxious parking lot, and but my wife and I have lived with Mom and Dad for the last 10, 12 years. And we're grateful to have had the time to spend with them, particularly this last year. I know with the pandemic and everything that there was a lot of difficulty for everyone and lots of adjustments, but my dad would often look back at things and say this was for purpose. There is reason behind this. And if you can look at that, then it helps give you comfort in the now. And I look back at this pandemic, and I am grateful for the year that I got to spend with my father, and the time that I had with my new son in the last year of my father's life, and to know that his love is now infused into my son and my children and all of his family, and that will continue on through us. I'll miss the times that we hang out at the coffee pot and complain about politics. And I feel the empty reminders now of the things that I relied on him to tell me to do. Not that I couldn't do it as a full-grown adult, just because that was his job. Ajay, check the pool chemicals. I still hear that. I think even just this last week I came home, I was like, I gotta check the pool. Why am I thinking about the pool? Thanks, Dad. And my sister and I are lucky. You know, most of us are blessed with the parents that we get. And we were not only blessed, but he chose us, him and Mom. And our lives are forever different, and we're grateful. And I don't know, I was telling, having an Asian father and having Mexican genetics, the operating system doesn't always fit the hardware. But we wouldn't be who we are today without that. And growing up in a house that embraced the Hindu faith and embraced the Christian faith, and to call our family anyone who walked through the door, that was, and it was my life, it was our life, but I don't think we understood that was unique to how my mom and dad presented us to the world. And it opened us up to everybody, and to appreciate differences, and to be able to love. And my sister's words earlier was that in the obituaries, that he taught us to love, and that's a very short statement for a lot of meaning. And words aren't enough, and it's wonderful to see the pictures. That Volkswagen bus is legendary. I think everybody's got stories about that. I remember road trips with my dad. I think everything on Hotel California and Eagles' Greatest Hits is forever in our DNA, including the Pulp Fiction soundtrack. He could do the wah in Jungle Boogie like no other. And he never considered himself a musician, but if you put on the right Hindi song, he would sing like a bird. And it was beautiful. And I'm grateful for being able to be his son, and to bear witness to his life, and to carry on his love. And I love you, Dad. I caused him a lot of pain. And most of you know this, when I was very young, I smashed my face in with a truck and I'm riding a go-kart around. And I got to tell him that I'm sorry I did that. And now, as a father of 3, I understand what I put him through, so he could take that with him. And I just want to thank you again for being here, and this is open session. If you'd like to come up and say something, or we can just be here together. We love you. He loved you, and thank you. This is my beautiful daughter Olivia, his only granddaughter, and he would remind her all the time.
Okay. Jeez, Dad. Thanks. So, I loved him to death and back, and he made me so incredibly happy, but he was the most stubborn person I ever knew. I have a couple of things that just popped into my head while we were watching the slideshow. One of them being is, I've never been very good at math. And I would sit down and get overwhelmed because I didn't know what was going on. My dad would try to help me, and I'm like, I don't want your help.
That anxiety would instantly kick in.
And then we'd both be panicking, and then Grandpa's like, oh, well, you just do this. And it made so much sense when he said it, but for whatever reason, when my teacher said it, I had no idea what was going on. But, yeah, that was just one of the things. Another thing is that he always said that he was going to take me to India too. You know, and I was talking to one of my really close friends about it. And she said, I was crying, and she's sitting here holding me, and she said to me, Olivia, don't cry, because he's still going to take you. Just, he hasn't broken his promise, he'll still take you. And, you know, that made me smile. For the first time in a while, it made me smile. And I went through the rest of the day remembering that, and I think that I'm always going to carry that with me. He hasn't broken his promise. He's still going to take me someday. I don't know. It's going to be rough without him. I mean, we're going to have an empty corner in the middle of the living room. I guess it's... Well, I mean, I guess it's not the middle, it's the corner. But
wherever he was the center of the
yeah. It's going to be rough, but, you know, I'm thankful to have him in my life. And, you know, when it comes right down to it, he was my best friend. And I'm thankful for the opportunity to celebrate him. Thank you guys for being here. She is so my niece. I love you. This still isn't my words. This is from Olga. For who is Olga? Oh my gosh. When we were 16, my dad hosted several foreign exchange students. We all did. And Olga came from Spain. I know she's watching on the live stream now because it's working. And like so many in this room, Olga became family. And she's my sister. And so she wrote something for my dad. She wrote, "Dear Dad, when I was 16 we met, and you and Mom made me a member of your family. Now I look back and I realize I was almost a child. At that moment I was not aware that the bond we would create would last along the years and with the same intensity. I think I did not realize that for you, opening the door to your family meant opening the door to your heart. And this is what I have to learn from you, that the people we love become the people of who we are. I am honored to be your daughter, and I will pass your memory to my children, so they will also learn to love with their heart. Rest in peace, Dad. I will miss you. I love you, Olga."
This is in honor of Raj. This is a shirt I bought in Indonesia, in Bali. And, well, you saw it in my video. And I'm very happy to be able to share that with all of you. Um, I've been a friend and family of Raj for the last, well, I was going to say 50 years, but I did the calculations, it's not quite right. It's been 49 years. We met in 1972, and I think that was about a year after Raj and Florence were married. Is that right? Yeah. And we met in Wisconsin, and Florence and I worked together at the.
I worked.
You worked. Yeah. I pretended to work. And it worked for me. But so yeah, so that's how I got to be part of the family. It's and I think the line in the video it shows you the importance of family. And family isn't just blood. It's the love, and the love that Raj has shared, and Florence has shared. And maybe I should explain. Another theme of the video. Perhaps I should take this off.
Yeah.
Another theme of the video is actually travel. Raj and I traveled frequently together. The Volkswagen bus was one of the first travels we made. We drove to Canada to visit Kala in Montreal, and then we traveled to Arizona, of course, many times, also in that bus. And then Raj and I traveled to India, and of course we've traveled all over the United States together. India was a very exciting experience for me. I got to meet all of Raj's family there, and I see many of them here, and it's so nice to see everyone back. Another theme of the video was food. As you can see, Raj loved to eat, and so did I. That's obvious also. And I'll remember Raj and I were watching television on, I think it was Netflix, about street food in India, and both of us were drooling watching this on the video. That's something that I'll always remember. Another theme of the movie was children.
Yeah.
You saw that Raj had carried all those. There's my nephew that he carried there. All of you, the pictures of all of the Olivia and Alex and everybody in the and that just shows you his love. And I've been fortunate to be the recipient of that as well. But anyway, it's a story of our friendship of almost 50 years, 49 years. At least, yes. So anyway, it's kind of difficult to speak extemporaneously. Is that a good word? But I do want to express, and I did, I think, through my video. I should also tell you, it was so hard to sift through all the pictures. My partner Tom will tell you, I was up, I think, until 3 in the morning. Only because I kept going down a rabbit hole. Oh, these pictures. Oh, I got to go through these pictures. So that was really difficult to sift through all those pictures, the many pictures I had over the last 50 years. So I just as to end, I guess I'm very honored to have been a friend and family with the Patels, and I thank you very much, and I thank Raj very much for all the love, all the food, all the travel that we've done together.
So usually what I would say nowadays is the first thing when I talk to someone is if they say how have you been, I would say I'm tired, but not today, I don't think. Today, I'm gonna say, I feel like I feel like I love someone. And that's true. And so every night I would go to my grandpa and my grandma and tell them goodnights, and every once in a while I would go for a hug with my grandpa, and he would suddenly lock me in a hug and start tickling me.
Very serious.
and now I feel like my brother won't be able to do that with him, and I won't be able to do it again with him. So I feel like that us honoring him here is really important to us all.
I think I have a loud voice. I can make up. We became part of Raj Mama's family like 8 years ago. We moved to Arizona about 8 years ago.
I remember the truck pulling up
Yes.
with your car.
That was the very first incident. So, my name is Shweta. The way we know Raj Mama, I call him Raj Mama, is because my mom is friends with Baki Masi or Kshama Masi, his youngest sister. We have known them since the 80s. But I had never met Raj Mama until 2012. I had only heard of him. We were moving to Arizona, and I was told Raj Mama is there and you need to go visit him. Yes. So when I was interviewing, we came over and we met Mommy, we met Raj Mama, and then we were moving here. Our car came before us, and we didn't know which address to give. We didn't have a rental place yet, so it was Mama's house that we had given. And we were supposed to pay the guys. He was not supposed to ask for money from Mama. Apparently, it was like middle of the night. The car got delivered. I always heard about that story until the very end. And then the driver asked him, "You need to pay right now, otherwise I'm going to take the car back." And so that was the very first interaction and story with Raj Mama. We were part of their New Year celebration at Shama's. That was our very first family event that we were part of. He would introduce to everybody as, "This is my other daughter." Advait used to tell everybody, my cousins in Arizona, and the other rest of the family who didn't know them were like, "Which cousins?" He always, it was Alex and Adric, Aiden, Andrew, and Advait. They're like the A brothers, all together. We were.
I think Olivia was sort of the adopted name.
Yeah, every single event was celebrated together. For Father's Day, saw some of the pictures there. He never made me feel like, we were not part of family. And, I was telling Ajay the other day, Sunday night chai was something we did every past 8 years. He would be waiting. "Where's my tea? Aren't you making it? How long is it gonna take?" And he always made me feel good about my tea, whether it was good or not. We're gonna miss him We're gonna miss him so much. I can still remember every time I walk into the house. Beta, why haven't you come? Don't work too hard. There's something I wanted to read though. This is one of the verses from Bhagavad Gita, from chapter 2, verse 13. The translation of the verse is, just as the embodied soul continuously passes from childhood to youth to old age, similarly, at the time of death, the soul passes into another body. The wise are not deluded by this. And the explanation for that is that in one lifetime itself, we change bodies from childhood to youth to maturity and then to old age. In fact, modern science informs us that cells within the body undergo regeneration. Old cells die away and new ones take their place. It is estimated that within 7 years, practically all the cells of the body would change. Sorry, I'm a scientist, but this is not my writing. Further, the molecules within the cells change even more rapidly. With every breath we inhale, oxygen molecules are absorbed into our cells. Scientists estimate that in 1 year's time, about 98% of our bodily molecules change. And yet, despite the continual change of the body, we perceive that we are the same person. That's because we are not material body, but spiritual soul seated within. And I want to say, it's a poem written by a Sufi mystic, which kind of outlines this concept. I died out of the stone and I became a plant. I died out of the plant and became an animal. I died out of an animal and became a man. Why then should I fear to die? When did I grow less by dying? I shall die out of man, become an angel. And I think that's what he is. He was the angel. He is the angel. Still out there. Beautiful.
I want to see the
Yeah.
jungle one day.
Yeah, please come.
એમ છે કે એક રોડને કહીએ છે કે આમે જર્ની કરી અને તારી પાસે એના બધા કોર્સ આવી રીતે કરે છે હવે તું એની સાથે પ્રેમથી ઇન્ટરનલ શાંતિ ઇઝ ધ મીનિંગ.
Okay, so your mom wants to sing a song which is in Gujarati, but the meaning of the song is that this soul has come to you, and this is singing to the God, saying he's come to you.
He had finished his all duties here and now he is coming to you. Please give him shelter and give him
love.
eternal peace. मंगल मंदिर खोलो दयामय मंगल मंदिर खोलो मंगल मंदिर खोलो दयामय मंगल मंदिर खोलो जीवन वनते वेगे वटाव्यूं जीवन वनते वेगे वटाव्यूं द्वार उभो शिशु बोलो दयामय मंगल मंदिर खोलो ते मेर गयो ने ज्योति प्रकाशो तिमिर गयो ने ज्योति प्रकाशो शिशुने उर्माल्यो दयामय मंगल मंदिर खोलो नाम मधुर तव रट्यो निरंतर नाम मधुर तव रट्यो निरंतर शिशु सह प्रेमे बोलो दयामय मंगल मंदिर खोलो दिव्य तृषातुर આવ્યો બાળક દિવ્ય તૃષાતુર આવ્યો બાળક શિશુ સહ પ્રેમે બોલો દયામય પ્રેમ અમીરસ ધોળો દયામય शिशु सह प्रेमे बोलो दयामय मंगल मंदिर खोलो मंगल मंदिर खोलो दयामय मंगल मंदिर खोलो
Did you hear that? Right away it's an accusation that I did. Well, what I want to do is just say, this has been great. You're trying to fix my bud. Well, everybody's always trying to fix me up. I always end up the same anyway. I have been so happy to have all the kids at home. We've played a lot of jokes at each other and just laughed for no reason. And it's just been fun. Oh, you're looking at my shoes and socks. Yeah. Well, they said, come as you are. I came in my pajamas. I normally do that, don't I? Yeah. Anyway, I've really appreciated everybody who had something to say about Dad. I don't have a lot to say, but I have a lot to think about. And maybe by 3 months from now, I'll call a lot of people and say, I need you to come, I'm falling. Because I'm not a person who just sits down and cries. I just don't do that. I'd have to break a leg and then we'd have to laugh too, wouldn't we?
Please don't.
No, but appreciate it, Grandma.
Okay, I'm. You notice I'm very careful. I am told every day, don't get hurt, don't do this, don't do that. Well, guess what I do the minute they turn around? I do it. Don't I?
We know.
But it's kept the place lively.
Lively is one word.
Thank you. And I just want to thank everybody. I know it's not easy to go and talk about someone who's gone. And I don't feel that way. Maybe because he was always gone. He traveled a lot. And when he came back, he wanted to see his kids. And they were like this, hiding. You did certainly do that. And we tried to explain that he traveled so they could have a better life. Did you get it? Okay, that's all I had to say. Love you all. We're going to have a meal at the house if she doesn't push me over. Just keep it still, I can get them put in there. No, look how careful I am.
If there's anyone else that would like to come up and say a few words.
Gee, it's like an old lady. Thank you.
Well,
She's having trouble with it too. Oh, it's okay.
well, I'm Sandra Potter. I'm Rich's wife, and so I am Raj's daughter-in-law. And he was such a caring person that no matter how much pain he was in or whatever was going on in his own life, his concern was Florence. And it was, you make sure if anything happens to me, you take care of her. That was his main thing his whole life that I knew him anyway, was take care of Florence, because that was what was important to him. His kids were important, his family is important, but he just always was thinking of somebody else. And no matter what, he would be there for anybody at any time. I rode my bike over to their house one time, going home. He hated that I'd wear my flip-flops when I rode my bike, but that's what I do. And I don't know what I hit, but I wiped out, and I could not even hardly pick my bike up. I hurt my wrists, and I called him, and just like that, he was there, because that's what Raj did. He would be there for anybody at any time. And I'm gonna miss being able to text him during Packer games. We'd be texting throughout the whole game, and I will miss that, but I will just miss him, knowing that he's still with us.
You still got me.
Hi, me again. I forgot to touch on something that I really wanted to. Like I said, my grandpa was really stubborn. And just something that he had told me, I don't know, once every other week or so, was to take out the recycling. The recycling that he kept in a yellow Barnes & Noble bag, a little one about this big. And he told me every other week, go take it out, go take it to the recycling and dump out these papers. And I was like, okay. And I remember every single time he would tell me, bring the bag back. I would get back inside the house from the garage where the recycling is. Did you bring the bag? Yes, Grandpa, I got the bag. And the first thing that happened when I got back home was I sat down in his chair and I said to Rochelle, I'm gonna go take out the recycling, but I'm gonna bring the bag back.
That's what you learned.
And I put it right back where he kept it. And I don't want to take up too much of the time on the stand, but another thing that he would always remind me of was, so I sing, and I take singing lessons. Well, I did for a long time, and I want to get back into it, but that's besides the point. I was working out of a book of Italian arias, and there was one that especially recently, he's always like, I really liked this one song. I don't remember what it's called, and I don't remember what it sounded like, but you need to remember it. And I can't remember which song he's talking about, and I still can't. But if it's okay, I was hoping to sing one of the songs from that book. And I haven't warmed up. I was not planning on doing anything, so I'm sorry in advance. Il cor, caro mio ben, senza di te languisce il cor, caro mio ben, sensimi almen, senza di te languisce il cor.
I think I know most of you, but I'm Rochelle. I'm married to Ajay, and so Raj was my father-in-law. And when I first met him, he wasn't ready for Ajay to have a new person that he was getting to know. And I was at one of Ajay's concerts, at a high school concert, and Ajay was excited to introduce me, and Raj wouldn't look at me. He wasn't ready to accept that anyone could be good enough to marry Ajay again. So that was my first introduction, was he was walking down the aisle and wouldn't turn around. And I just know that it's out of love and wanting the most for his family and for his son, and that's what that now represents to me. That, you know, you have to kind of show that, you know, a worthiness, right? Not to have the love, but to be totally enough for a son, right? Or for a daughter. At least that was what was happening at the time for us. Since then, over the years, so many memories of just daily, you know, sharing meals, preparing meals together, being a team. We were partners, you know, we were together in the house, and we were the two vegetarians, so we looked out for each other as far as food went, and I was disappointed that I didn't get an opportunity to make him Gujarati dal and kadhi, which I was hoping to learn to make, but we did make a lot of other Indian dishes. So. When my father passed away a few years ago, Raj said, "You have to celebrate the good times and the love and the joy, and don't dwell in the sadness." And I know that's what he would want us to do here for him, is to celebrate him and the joy and the goodness and that family duty that he embodied. So that's what I'm doing, and I had the opportunity to say that to him, that I'm sharing that, on his last day. I said, we're celebrating you like you told me to do about my father. And he said, it's Mother's Day and you're celebrating me? And I said, well, it takes a father and a mother to have a mother, right? So I told him, you're my second dad, because that's what he told me also when my father passed away. He said, you still have a dad. Yeah. So I love you, Raj, and thank you for everything. And thank you for being such a wonderful father, and to all of us, I guess. And there's a lot more. But I'll leave it there today. Thank you.
So I know my mom would really like to speak and is having trouble finding the words, so I'll try to speak on behalf of my family. So Raj worked for my parents starting in the very early 70s. My mom married my dad in 1970, and they started a company in 1971 called Star of India Fashions. And Raj was their first employee in 1972. So those pictures that you see of him as a young man, my mom was very young too, and Florence was very young, and Raj was young, and they, it's hard to even call him an employee because he was really their partner. And they decided to import clothing and bongs and all kinds of eccentricities from India, and very 1970s style, sell them here in Arizona to all the hippies. And that's what they were. They were the hippies of that time. They created the 70s. These people, they came to America with these big dreams. And my brother was born in 1972, and Raj, he worked for my family throughout the 70s, the 80s, the 90s. His whole life as a young, middle-aged and older man. And so in 1979 I was born, and I'm Olivia. My brother's AJ, so if those names sound familiar. I should tell you, our families were very close, but it was definitely a business relationship. They're all workaholics, so they just worked and worked and worked. And I hear that Raj was traveling a lot, and in 1980, right after I was born, my dad, he basically moved to India, and he was gone my whole childhood. And because he wanted to do some business, he wanted to start a paper mill, and he was still working on, bringing all the product from India. And so I would call the office, and my mom would be busy, and Raj was always the one, as a young kid, who would take care of whatever I needed, pick me up from school, or, and he was so much support, in my life, which sounds, I hear that from a lot of people today. And so, in 2005, my mom called me that Raj had been hurt, and she really needed some help at the office. And could I move back to Arizona and, be the new Raj, which was a really big responsibility. And I'm never sure I could fill that responsibility. He was so dedicated and loyal and honest and and really built this business with my family, and thousands of people around the world had jobs and a livelihood for, raise their families thanks to the dedication of Raj, and thousands and thousands of families around the world, because with Raj's help, my family was able to produce millions and millions of things in India, which was very much a third world country when they started this. And so you should know that Raj's projects really mattered and really did a lot of good. And I'm so grateful that he helped my family for all those years and was so much support to me. And he will be missed very much. And I'm so grateful to his family for giving so much of Raj's time up to mine. And thank you all. So sad, especially for my mom, and Golti and Gloria, who are here, and Chaman, who really feel this huge loss today. And thank you all.
Hello, everybody. My name is Rocky Granillo. My wife is Tina Granillo. And I met Raj through my wife. Okay. Raj was a good man. He taught me a lot with our business. So I met him probably about 18 years ago when we first got married. And I didn't know nothing about computers. I didn't know nothing about it. I worked construction, I worked in the mines. And so Tina introduced me to him because she wanted me to go work for her with our business, Arizona Vascular. So he came into the picture and he taught me a lot. He would call me cowboy, as you can see. And so he taught me a lot about the computers. He goes, I'm gonna make you into a cowboy accountant. I said, okay. But anyways, we got along really great. He's a good man, great person, great personality. We did butt heads, I'll tell you that. We did butt heads once in a while. But he would come to the office about twice a week. And then he would tell me, okay, I'll see you Tuesday or Thursday. Don't forget the fries. Because he loved McDonald's fries. And he'd always tell me, don't forget to bring my fries. Because that was my payment to him for helping me. And I said, if you make me mad, I'm going to tell Aunt Jean. You're getting fries. And he'd just laugh at me and smile. But he would always come into the office, a big old smile, say, hey, cowboy, how's it going? I will miss him. I'll miss him dearly because he taught me a lot. Another thing was funny was he was a Green Bay Packer fan. I'm a Steelers fan. And he always wanted to bet. What do you want to bet this time? Well, you know what I want to bet. Fries. You could never get away from the fries, but I loved him. I'm going to miss him. He's a great man. And through him, I met all of you. And I'm grateful for that. So with that, I'll say thank you for sharing him with me. Appreciate it.
Howdy. I'm Andy. You might have seen me in the collage. I was wearing a plaid red shirt, I believe, at one of the Thanksgivings that, I believe at your house, Sharma. So I met Raj in 2016. I was playing on a co-ed soccer team with Sharma, and it was the first time Aiden had been invited to come play. And Raj was on the side. He was there, and rolling substitutes and things like that. And just chatting away, and you could see he was excited to see his grandson get the ball and play. And Aiden, you were moving well that day. But it's later on in the game, and Aiden's taking a few shots here and there, not score, but finally, Aiden gets his goal, and Raj's face just lit up. From everything I've seen on the collage, what everyone has said, he's so much about family. But to see his grandson that day put the ball in the net, he lit up, and I was like, damn. Wish I had a grandfather like that, because I lost my grandfather, a while ago. I thought, damn, I wish I had a grandfather who could come to my games and see me play like that. But anyway, we finished the game, and we're chatting, and I just happened to mention, well, soccer's great, but I wish we were playing cricket. Hold the phone. You play cricket? Yeah, I play cricket, Raj. Do you like cricket? Whew. He takes a hold of me, and he sits me down on the bench next to him. He gives me a 10-minute lecture on the Indian cricket superstar Virat Kohli, and he holds me there. I'm going nowhere at this point, and he is giving me a full lecture. Virat Kohli, the best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be. And for the first time since I got to America, I felt welcome. I left my family back in the UK, and I have family in California. But that was the first time I really felt like there was something here for me, that I hadn't left everything behind. Because your dad, your husband Florence, he took the time to sit me down next to him and talk to me about something I loved, a game that I enjoyed. And every single time I showed up at a Thanksgiving, at your house, Sham, at your house, Ajay, Andy, come and sit down. And if I pause for one moment, Andy, sit down. We would talk cricket endlessly. And, I started off, knowing Sharma through my wife. They worked together. We played soccer together, we did Ragnar together, so much so that my wife refers to Sharma as my running wife. But talking to Raj, I went beyond friends. And I became part of your family. And that seems to be a theme from everyone here who's got up to talk about him. And that's just absolutely beautiful. When my wife gave me the message the other day that Raj had passed away, man, that hit me sideways. Following you on Facebook, both of you guys just, seeing how he was doing and, crossing my fingers and praying. But man, that knocked me sideways. But that's because, he went beyond just, your dad, your grandfather, your husband. He invited me and made me part of your family. And for that, I'm super grateful. It'll mean so much to me forever. Just one more thing. Just one more cricket analogy. 71 years old. That's a fantastic innings. Well done, Raj. And thank you all.
Yeah, we all got runny noses. Hi.
Pleasure.
Me too. Let me give you a shake. So you know they're going to shake. Okay.
Easy.
That's what I learned. I mean, if you're going to give a shake, give it a shake. Nice to meet you. Yeah, we better get going.
You know, when we were working on this services, and you know this day's gonna come, but you're never ready for it, ever. We weren't really sure how it was gonna go because we didn't have anybody coming to do an official speak, so I was worried. I have that teacher heart one moment, for those who are teachers in the room, where you're like, what if you're like kind of up there, you're like, hello, hello, wondering if anyone. Oh, I could tell we could do this for a while, and I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I wrote my words because I didn't know how I would be right now, so I just want to make sure that. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I'll start from. Like Ajay had started in the beginning, my dad didn't have to be my dad. Ajay and I were in foster care. And we were officially adopted at the age of 3, so before we even could walk, we won the lottery. No one ever questioned that I was not his daughter. And anytime we were in the store and somebody would say, somebody would say, oh, you look just like him. That was like the biggest compliment anybody could say to him. He was always like, yep. And he'd rub my cheek like that. Hi, honey. My dad instilled many great values and lessons, and I loved how Robbie summed up the themes and the themes that carried on through this. Some of the things that he told us many times in several different variations. If you're going to do something, make sure you do it right, preferably the first time. Take care of mom. Mm-hmm. Take pride in what you do. And it didn't always come out like that. Sometimes if I half-assed something, it was like, take pride in what you do. I was like, okay, sorry. Take care of mom.
Take care of mom. I
Yes.
know, but everybody's telling me that. I'm going to go home and sit.
My dad never doubted anything. He always said, if you have a goal and you work hard for it, you're going to do it.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Did you get lost?
No, I'm trying to breathe. I can't be more proud of everybody who came up to speak and appreciated my dad and loved him as much as he loved you. And it's so true. If you met him, you were family, and that bond is forever. He valued education. Education was so important to him. He called me Dr. Patel or Dr. Sharma all growing up. But kind of like Ajay said, I wasn't very good at science and math. So I knew I was going to get my doctorate in something. And thank you, Dad, for pushing with love. Dad would always say, and you'll remember this, I have something to say. I don't care if you like it or not, but you're going to hear me out.
Oh, yeah.
And then there was a dramatic pause, and then came the finger. And you knew that was something he was going to say, and it was always good. He loved his grandchildren so much. when he was in his final hours, he wanted to make some phone calls.
Crazy.
Who does that? He called so many people to say goodbye. Like FaceTimes. He FaceTimed with so many people in this room to say goodbye. And when he got to Sky and Phoenix, he was moments away from dying, and he's still blowing kisses at his grandchildren. It was so beautiful. He had CMT and ALS, and that's a horrible disease and combination, and he made his decisions on how he wanted to live and how he wanted to die. And he said, I don't want any tubes, I don't want any trach, I don't want any vent, I do not want to be intubated again.
Intubated 3 times.
Oh my gosh. He hated it, and he would write. Like when he couldn't speak, he would write, and his brain was so with it. He's writing as much as he can. Shama, call Citibank. I'm like, Dad, you're worried about bills right now. Like, oh. So I'm gonna do my very best to take care of all of that. But he took his last breaths, not even on pain medicine or anything. The carbon dioxide was building up in his blood, and he literally just went to sleep. And it was so beautiful. Holding Mom's hand with Haji and I next to him. And it was so amazing. So sharing a cup of coffee and taking time to be with each other and visiting and staying connected with each other. I know Dad would want that, and I'm horrible, aside from Facebook, at keeping in touch with each other, but please help hold me accountable with keeping in touch with everybody, please. He would want that. Daddy, this world won't be the same without you. And I promise to do my best to keep in touch with friends and family. And to take care of Mom. Thank you so much for everything. I love you, and I know I'll see you again.
I met Raj 22 years ago. Meet his wonderful family. He was always there. Every time I had surgery, I had so many knee surgeries, he was always there, even though he couldn't, always had his walker with him. He had such a hard time reaching wherever he needed to be, but he was always there, supporting Shama, everyone. He was an awesome man. As soon as he learned I love Barcelona, the soccer team, he loved Messi. He was his favorite player. Of course, not Packers, but he loved that. And we just talk about it for a long amount of time. It was awesome. We're gonna miss him. And he had this phrase. He always called me Jeff, right? When he wanted something done, he paused and said, hey, Jeffrey. It's funny, he was in a hospital bed, and he told me, we got to get that done. He goes, my van needs the AC done, take it to your friend, and maybe the oil change. I knew he was going to say that as soon as he says, Jeffrey. I said, you got it. So, we're going to miss you. He was awesome. Thank you.
I know, as Shama said, we can keep doing this, and there's an opportunity to do so, but we can't continue here. According to Dad's wishes and the traditions of his faith, his family, close family, is going to go and be part of a cremation ceremony. We invite you all back to our home. We'll have a spread, and we can continue this remembrance and camaraderie. And if we don't see you there, we thank you for coming. And we know that our dad has changed our lives, and he would want us to take that into the world. And if we can be in love with even a fraction of what he gave us, the world will be that much better of a place. Thank you again for coming. Safe travels. And yeah, if you don't have our home address, you can contact any of the immediate family, and we can tell you where to go.
Supper.
And supper. Mom wants to make sure you come for supper. Thank you again.
We left out an important detail. There's an exit right here if you wanted to come by and say bye to Mom one more time, and then the exit is here.